So, a little while ago I made a video on my other channel about the Lisa Rinna M&M, and while researching to try and find the origins of Candymorphic Lisa, I came across this video here.
How can you make a brand with 99% awareness more relevant to consumers? Well, you let them become the brand. The M&M campaign did just that. TV spots showed what average people would look like when transformed into their inner M&Ms.
The video appears to be some sort of showcase for the M&M advertising campaign called The Inner M. To me, the video looks like something that would be shown to investors or directors of the M&M company to prove that some employees have actually done their job this year. And as someone who, at the time, had involuntarily become madly plagued by the Lisa Rinna M&M, this video was actually kind of interesting. And then, halfway through the video, she appeared.
But we didn't stop there. We created a 50-foot Inner M of the Statue of Liberty, seen floating in the New York harbor next to Lady Liberty herself.
They built a 50-foot M&M-ified Statue of Liberty and had her float around in New York Harbor. I, obviously, became instantly obsessed with this architectural feat and was desperate to know more. And the question that I really wanted answered was, where was this statue now? So I googled M&M Statue of Liberty, wanting a closer look beyond the 4 pixels that the video provided. But all that came up were these toy M&M dispensers. So naturally I searched again, this time adding Hudson River, and there she was, an image of Candy Lady Liberty herself. But that was it, only one photo. And after a little digging, this was the only image of the M&M Statue of Liberty that I could find, and I felt like I was going crazy. How did people, whilst stood on the banks of the Hudson River, not look over and see the M&M Statue of Liberty bobbing along and not think to take a picture and post it? I understand it was 2007, but cameras definitely did exist back then, and I know this for a fact because the DSi came out the next year. Something seemed a little off. And also, why have I never seen anyone else talk about this? It's a 50-foot buoyant M&M styled like the Statue of Liberty. It's all we should have talked about since. The blog, which posted the only image of the engineering marvel, was a photography and design blog called Shedwa. In the post, dated the 19th of January 2007, the account wrote the following about the sacred monument. M&M's has created a 50-foot tall green M&M Statue of Liberty and is floating it around the Hudson River today. The stunt is to promote the new Planet M&M site where you can design your very own M&M avatar. The M&M statue was down by the real Statue of Liberty today at 6:45 AM, but you can catch it at 10:30 AM at South Street Seaport or at 2 PM at the Chelsea Piers. The blog then updated their post with the image and linked a video which no longer exists. However, from this information the blog provides, we learn that not only did the statue float on the river, it actually floated along the river. This thing towed. Looking at the locations where the statue was spotted that day, the statue floated around 12.5 kilometers, but when you factor in curvature, it must have bobbed along at least 13 kilometers, around 8 miles. And this is all we have to show for it. When googling for other alleged sightings of the statue, I came across a second blog that confirmed that a 50-foot M&M Statue of Liberty did in fact float around the Hudson River on the 19th of January 2007, confirming that it wasn't just made up by the blogger, so that 17 years later an annoying person would make it their entire personality and make a YouTube video about it, trying to get other vaguely engaged people to be interested in an M&M cosplaying as the Statue of Liberty. But thankfully that never happened and the statue did exist. More researching took me to youtube.com, you might have heard of it, where I came across this video, which appeared to be a clip from Entertainment Tonight covering the M&M Statue of Liberty story, which included some more shots of the statue. The video also revealed that the statue was made of fiberglass and steel, weighed 12 tons, and took 2,000 hours to construct, which leads me to believe that the statue could still be out there because it was made from fiberglass and steel, not paper mache. This video, titled Randy M&M Statue, had only 3 comments: M&M of Liberty, second, fourth, crap, And after managing to pull myself away from the comedians in the comment section, the video gave me a lead. In the caption of the video, which was uploaded to the channel just simply called T, which is ironic because that's exactly what it gave me, T wrote the following: Randy built this statue, followed by an ominous ellipsis which made me worry that I had gone too far and that I would soon regret my decision to investigate the colossal M&M Statue of Liberty cosplay, but at this point I was in too deep. I needed to know the truth. So after searching Randy's name, I found a LinkedIn profile which looked promising, and looking through their experience, I hope this isn't considered stalking, I came across exactly what I had been looking for. I am the chief cook and bottle washer here, using what creativity I have to solve the problems, like how to build a 50-foot M&M as the Statue of Liberty on a badge in January in 3 weeks. Two things. One, 3 weeks is an incredibly impressive time frame for such a work of art, and two, I finally knew I was on the right track to discovering the fate of the Godzilla-esque M&M. From the LinkedIn page, I found Randy's own official website, and scrolling through the images, I saw two very familiar eyes staring back at me. Very The Great Gatsby. It was her. After longer than I am willing to admit, I managed to find the full image of what appears to be a behind-the-scenes pic of the torch hand and half the head of the M&M Statue of Liberty. This was the second picture I had of the M&M statue, excluding the news report, but I knew there had to be more. Again, who the doesn't see a 50-foot Lady Liberty M&M and take a picture? Back on LinkedIn, I decided to look at the company that was tasked with creating the statue, and in the About Us section, they also mentioned the statue. We have built projects as large as a 55-foot M&M as the Statue of Liberty on a barge in the New York Harbor for the Become an M&M campaign launch. And so my investigation had reached new heights, quite literally, as I discovered that the M&M was not 50 feet tall after all, but was in fact 55 feet tall. The company's profile linked to a website that was no longer active, but the Wayback Machine decided to work for once, and on the front page, just below pictures of the restaurant set built for the 2009 movie According to Greta, starring none other than living legend Hilary Duff, the website also had exactly what I was looking for: more pics of the M&M. The one on the far right was the original image that kicked off my 50-foot M&M era, but the other two were new. The first was a behind-the-scenes pic, presumably of assembly of the statue, and the second one was the statue in all her glory, in front of what I think is the Brooklyn Bridge. The image on the site was captioned, "Become an M&M campaign launch for Mars Candy, second largest sculpture ever built afloat, 55 feet tall, 3 tons, on a barge in New York Harbor," which annoyed me further that this piece of history was so undocumented, given that she literally broke records. It's not every day you see the second largest sculpture ever built afloat, so take a picture, New Yorkers, for God's sake. So I now had 4 images of the M&M statue, but again, I still wanted more. After a little more research, I also came across an old demo reel which had some additional images showing more of the behind-the-scenes creation of the statue, and these images also confirmed my original suspicions that the statue was constructed in the Arctic. And despite now having a few images of the statue in various states of being, the mystery remained. Where was the statue now? I did probe the internet further to see if anyone had posted anything about it in recent years, even checking eBay, and during this time I discovered that the M&M hasn't been the only thing to float around near Lady Liberty, as in 2014 an inflatable Rubik's Cube also bobbed along the Hudson River, and although not even being half as interesting as M&M Lady Lib, there are infinitely more pictures available of the Rubik's Cube event. It's a colourful cube. Anyways, there became a point in my research that I had exhausted most of my options, so I had to do something which I absolutely despise doing: bothering people. And so, after having found an email for Randy, the creator of the statue, I emailed him asking if he knew anything about the M&M's fate. And yes, I did acknowledge in my email how weird it is of me to be asking about a colossal M&M statue from 17 years ago. I'm happy to report some self-awareness remains. I am also also incredibly grateful that he gave his time to reply to my email. In his response, the creator said that the M&M statue was dismantled and there was talk of it going to Las Vegas to the Mars Candy headquarters. However, he was unsure if that ever happened. Following this correspondence and my newfound investigative journalist status, I now had a lead. I did attempt to Google the M&M headquarters, but couldn't find anything about the statue being in Vegas, although I did find out that there is a much smaller version of the statue in the M&M shop in Times Square, but still, the fate of the colossal statue was unknown. After a bit more digging, I managed to find a LinkedIn page belonging to the Vice President of Marketing for M&M, and I reached out to her, but only after having subscribed to LinkedIn Premium, because you can't message people you don't have connections with without paying for a subscription, and believe it or not, I have zero connections with corporate America. I also forgot to cancel my free trial of LinkedIn Premium and was later charged $29.99 for the experience, but the $29.99 was actually worth it in the end, as the lady replied. In her reply, she said that, unfortunately, she did not know where the statue ended up after New York, and she said that she did not recall seeing the statue at the office location in New Jersey. She did, however, go on to give me the name of the account lead of the M&M Lady Liberty advertising agency at the time, who may know what happened to the statue. Also, side note, please don't reach out to anyone I mention in this video, I've already bothered them enough. Now, I did follow up and reach out to the 2007 account lead, who actually still worked for the company. However, she was no longer an account lead at the company, she was its CEO. So I did email the office as well as reach out to her on LinkedIn. However, I did not receive a response, which I do completely understand, because if I was the CEO of anything, the absolute last thing I would be doing would be corresponding with a person treating the lost M&M Statue of Liberty from 2007 like a police investigation. And with that, I was officially out of names and leads, and so the Candy Hansel and Gretel trail went cold. Since then, I have reached out to Mars Media Relations as well as just general Mars customer service, but received no word back from either, and so the whereabouts of the 55-foot M&M Statue of Liberty remain a mystery. And although she may be dead, rotting away in a rubbish heap somewhere, the New York 55-foot tall M&M Statue of Liberty from 2007 remains erect inside of all of us, in our hearts and in our memories, and no one can take that away. If anyone does happen to have any pictures or any information regarding the current whereabouts of the statue, be sure to reach out to me at Joe Regrets on Twitter, linked below. I need to know the truth. Also, please don't message anyone mentioned in this video, they have already been asked, and unlike many of us, actually have a job. Thanks for watching. If you tolerated this video and want better quality videos, consider subscribing to my main channel, Joe Regrets. But if you like this one, feel free to like the video and subscribe to this channel.